Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Office of the State Controller's Quick Bids Training Series. These videos are designed to help state agencies record and verify various accounting requirements within R-Stars based on guidance from the Governmental Accounting Standards Board.
I'll be walking you through the SBITA amortization fact pattern that we'll be posting into R-Stars. For our example SBITA, we have a term of 3 years or 36 monthly payments. There's a monthly payment of $35,000 and an interest rate of 6%. We enter this information into the T-Value software, and you can see the results in the amortization schedule below. It gave us a present value of minimum future SBITA payments in the amount of $1,140,485.57. We've calculated a monthly amortization in the amount of $33,763.49. This is calculated by taking the present value of minimum future SBITA payments plus any costs associated with establishing the SBITA, if any. In our example, there is $75,000 of initial implementation stage costs, and therefore, we would use this $1,215,485.57 as seen here. So you'd take that total and divide it by the shorter of the SBITA term length or the useful life of the asset. For our example, the SBITA term length is shorter, and so we use 36 months. The annual amount for this year would be the $33,763.49 multiplied by the number of months remaining in the year, which is 5. This brings us to a total annual amortization of $168,817.45. In the next few videos, we will walk you through the journal entries and how to enter them into R-Stars.
I will be making the needed journal entry to record the accumulated amortization of the subscription-based IT arrangements, or the SBITA, at year end. I've already mapped out my entries with the document numbers, T-codes, and the accounting elements that I will need to use. This information is shown over here at the right of the screen. First, make sure that you're logged into R-Stars under the correct user class to make the entry. For this entry, I will need to make a JV document entry and will use user class 27. Once you've logged into R-Stars, navigate to the 500 screen to enter your batch header. On the 500 screen, enter your batch agency. I'm agency 107. You can enter a batch date, or you can leave it blank and allow it to default to today's date. Enter your batch type. For this entry, I will be using batch type 4, and then enter your batch number. Just use your agency's protocols for batch numbering. I'm going to use batch 158. You can enter a batch count and a batch amount, or you can leave these fields blank. $168,817.45 is my batch amount. The batch edit mode is 2, and I will leave it there. And then you can enter an effective date, or you can leave this blank. And then at this point, you can press F10 to save the header and enter into the batch. My JV entry will record the accumulated amortization of the SBITA contract. First, I'm just going to confirm that my effective date is correct for the fiscal month that I want my transaction to post, 6/30/25. And then I need to enter the document number and the suffix. So my document number is JV 060125, and my suffix is just 001. I need to enter my T code, so it is 542 for this transaction. And then I will enter that PCA, which is 99907. And then I need to enter an agency object, which is 7489. That rolls up to comp object 7489. And then I will enter my amount here, which is the $168,817.45. And my document amount, which I only have one entry, so my amount and my document amount are the same for this entry. And then I will add a description to record the accumulated amortization of the SBITA contract right there. T code 542 has an open GL, and I need to select a GL input with this transaction. There are 4 GLs listed over here in my fact pattern: 3600, 3018, 0895, and 3074. If I was unclear which to use, at this point I could interrupt to the 28A screen by putting 28A in the link to field and then pressing F9, where I could enter the T code 542 and I could look it up. I can see here that I'm missing this credit. So I'm missing 0895 that will credit accumulated amortization of the subscription-based IT assets. I could also press F6 to view the 28B screen, and I could see that 0895 is one of the GLs that is included for this T code. So then I just can confirm that the open GL that's needed for T code 542 for my transaction is 0895. By pressing F9, I will end my interrupt session and go back to my batch. And then I can just enter my GL right there, so 0895. At this point, I can press F4 to bring in my lookup fields and to see if I have any errors. So my lookup fields have been brought in and I do not see any errors. So at this point, I'll press F10 to save my transaction. My transaction was successfully written. At this point, I can do F7, which will take me to the 520 screen, and I can review my one line of entry. And then I can press F6 just to confirm that my batch is balanced. This batch is balanced, so it would be ready for review and release. And that concludes my entry to record the accumulated amortization of the SBITA contract.
We have generated the DAFR 6610 and 6620 reports to verify the information was recorded properly. The examples used in these videos were created within the acceptance region. Since OBI does not include the acceptance region, we ordered the DAFR 6610 and 6620 reports. But under normal circumstances, the DAFR 6610 and 6620 reports within the OBI repository will show the same information. These reports are used by your SARS analyst in conjunction with agency disclosures to evaluate if balances and activities are recorded correctly for proper reporting in the ACFR. Therefore, it's important to review either these DAFR reports or OBI queries regularly and during the year-end closing process.
Scrolling through the reports briefly, we can verify the information. In the previous portion of our training, we walked you through recording $168,817.45 of SBITA amortization expense. We see it here on the DAFR 6610 for the government-wide reporting fund, an agency object 7489, which rolls up to comptroller object 7489, representing amortization of subscription-based IT assets. This is appropriate. Turning to the DAFR 6620, we also see it here in the government-wide reporting fund in GL account 0895 for accumulated amortization of SBITA assets. This is also appropriate. These transactions have been recorded correctly.